U.S. troops in another gun battle with Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan. 5 Americans were killed Saturday in separate Taliban assaults. In the last week, fighting has escalated as U.S. and NATO forces push further into Taliban strongholds. Dozens of Afghan civilians and security forces were also killed. An Afghan army spokesman says at least 50 Taliban militants died in fighting on Saturday. The latest violence comes as the U.S. tries to implement its strategy of fighting the Taliban and protecting civilians. Retired Army General Jack Keane says the strategy will not work without an increase in U.S. combat troops.
What we learned after 3 years of a failed strategy in Iraq was we didn't have the right resources and we didn't have the right strategy. Now we have the right leaders, the right strategy in Afghanistan, and what we need is the appropriate level of resources to do it.
While the fighting in Afghanistan reaches new levels, a new audio message attributed to al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden claims President Obama will be powerless to stop the war in Afghanistan. The recording appeared Sunday on an Islamist website. American public support for the war in Afghanistan has been declining. Eric Lever with the Institute for Policy Studies in Washington says adding more combat forces would be a mistake.
The more that we put U.S. troops on the ground, the more that we're seen as an occupier. I think that it puts the civilian population there actually more at risk.
The Obama administration is expected to make a decision soon on whether to send additional troops to Afghanistan. General Stanley McChrystal, the top U.S. and NATO commander there, is expected to ask President Obama to boost the number of combat troops beyond the 68,000 that will be on the ground by the end of the year. Chris Simkins, VOA News, Washington.